Okay, so I think we should start. So, hi everyone, this is Max. Again, I'm keeping you company. I'm sorry you cannot see my face this today because we are holding a offline a mixed mode events in Hong Kong U. We do have a lot of campers joining. Also shout out to Direct U. Because of them, we have a chance to talk with all of you guys offline, and we do have a lot of participants joining online. So yeah, really great. And before today's session starts, I would like to claim one or two things. So firstly, about the NFT and DID stuff. So we are really, really sorry if you see that you lost your NFT and DID in the website, but do not panic because it's all about the backend problems. So all your own chain statistics is on chain. So just click mint again. You do not need to pay extra gas fee. You can mint that back to your to your website. Yeah. That's the first thing. And secondly, I would like to announce that we're going to try to establish the Blockchain Academy Committee, which is made up by every one of you here. So we'll have activity team, research team, education team, and a lot. So if you're interested, please DM Blockchain Academy in WeChat and Discord group. If you would like to join us to not only be a learner, but also to be a teacher, be a team member. Yeah, please do that. We will also thinking of a kind of DAO scheme to monitor the whole system, but there's a long way to go. We are actually going through a very different things we're currently doing. Yeah, and now let's go to today's session. So we are very honored to have Jack and Reno here. They are the co-founders of Moonlab. They're also USC alumni. So yeah, really happy to see Jack again. We're actually old friends, and great to see Reno. Yeah, it's just time for you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the kind introduction. Are you able to see the screen I share? Because I'm using iPad, so I cannot see the gallery view. Just want to make sure before I start, you guys can see my slide. Is the slide okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, sure. Again, thanks for the kind introduction. I'm Jack. I'm the co-founder of Moonlab, and together I'm with Reno, so who's another co-founder of Moonlab. So it's really a pleasure for all of us, for our company to actually do a sharing with you all today. So we haven't prepared much information because we don't know what you guys want to listen the most. So we prepare some stuff that we think might be useful for all of you. So, but then I think we can leave around 20 minutes or 20 to 25 minutes for a Q&A session so that you guys can ask more questions and we can see how we can address the questions you have. But then, yeah, because I heard from the team that today's topic going to be is NFT a paradise or a scam? Well, of course, for our company, maybe our views are slightly biased, but then we are very bullish of NFT, right? We think NFT can reach a lot of potential in the future, and we are not at the booming stage yet. We're doing a lot of preparation for that. And I'm pretty sure all of you guys who attend this seminar, this sharing session, you guys are at least somewhat interested in blockchain, Web3, and NFT. So I guess most of you guys are also optimistic about the future of NFT. So yeah, for us, NFT is not a scam for sure. But we also think that currently there are a lot of NFT projects are looks like a scam, right? So they're collectibles, art collectibles. They're hyping, and people pay a crazy high value to buy an image, basically, and then they collect that image, and that image does not have a utilities attached to that image. So we think those kind of things won't last too long. They will be just a very, very small part of the NFT ecosystem, and they will be outdated soon. But then we as a company focusing doing NFT related stuff, we do think there are a lot of applications, future use cases can be used by applying NFT as a technology. I will go into more details later. But before we start, can we do a simple survey? Because I don't know all of you guys' background. Can I just know like how many of you are from a tech background? How many of you are like from business background? Can we do a if you're a tech background, can you just raise your hand? I'm not sure I can view the raising hand. Yeah, I'm just trying to get some picture of the audience.
Some people offline is also raising the hands as well, Jack.
Oh yeah, I cannot see. I hate iPad, but then yeah. So can I say 50-50? I cannot. Like I can only see the online pool. Seems online audience there are more business students than tech students. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'll be talking mainly about the business part, and then my co-founder Reno will go into technical deep dive if you guys are interested. And then because we're not really sure, Reno just did a very technical workshop for a bunch of UST students, and then he figured out actually he went into the wrong classroom, right? The audience are mainly business background students, so they get bored. So yeah, I think yeah. So I just want to make the definition right before we start everything, right? So I think NFT has become a very buzzy word in our community, and even in school right now. I'm pretty sure you guys in Hong Kong, you talk a lot about NFT. Everyone is talking about NFT, but I'm not. I'm based on what I discussed with many of my friends and many of our clients. Actually, not many people here in Hong Kong understand the definition of NFT very clearly, right? So I usually when I explain about NFT, I will start with FT. NFT, the full NFT in full is like a non-fungible token, right? So I think you cannot understand about NFT without knowing the definition of fungible token. So I start with FT first. So what is FT? FT is basically the currency you and I use on a daily basis. If we are in Hong Kong, we use Hong Kong dollar. If we are in the States, we use US dollar. And even the cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Ethereum are fungible tokens. So you may ask, what is fungible tokens? Basically, fungible tokens are like very identical tokens. Like you carrying one piece of $100 notes in Hong Kong is no different with me carrying the $100 notes. Basically, the merchant will receive these 100 notes and provide you the goods and services accordingly, right? And then fungible token, you can also chuck them into very little fractions, right? So you instead of carrying one note piece of $100 notes, you can actually carry 10 pieces of $10 notes, right? It can be fractionalized. Even Bitcoin can be like a 0.0001 Bitcoin, and same to ethers, right? So, but then if you understand those concept about fungible token, so non-fungible token share very different features, right? Non-fungible token are very unique in a sense that the number of token will be identical to each other on the blockchain. So if you find this CryptoPunk image on the right hand side, each image is different. Each image is actually one identical NFT. They cannot actually exchange with each other unless you sell one of the NFT, exchange for ETH, and then buy another NFT. But then, so they're very unique in a sense, and the other point is they cannot be fractionalized. You cannot actually fractionalize one CryptoPunk and one other NFT image into 1,000 pieces, and you just own a fraction of it. You have to do that with some centralized exchange or centralized platform, but then in a DeFi world, it's impossible that you can fractionalize NFT at this moment, right? So every token is unique. And then with NFT, there are some there are some standard. We have a very famous one from Ethereum. So it's ERC 721, and we also have ERC 1155. So if you trying to understand what's the difference between, actually right now, I'm pretty sure most of you guys have tried or heard of OpenSea. If you just an ordinary customer go to OpenSea and mint your first NFT, it's very likely that you are minting your NFT using ERC 1155. Basically, your NFT is included in a gigantic OpenSea smart contract, in one single smart contract, together with many other NFTs, many other users who issue NFT through this smart contract, right? So if you use the image as a reference, basically 1155 is like one vending machine for 1,000 or million items. But then if you're using ERC 721, it's like a one vending machine for one item. It's like very unique. If you ask me, you might ask like what's a pros and cons for this tool, right? So if you are using ERC 721 because it's so unique and so sharing that one vending machine alone per se, so you can do more customization, right? You can add more features, you can program it. But if you're using ERC 1155, the customization is very limited, and you are basically issuing that NFT through one common OpenSea smart contract. So when you see your NFT on the Ether scan, you can actually see that NFT token is issued from OpenSea smart contract instead of you own contract, right? Instead of you or your company's own contract. So that's the major difference, as you can imagine. Yeah, so after explaining about the definition of the NFT, I would spend more time, sometimes explaining why our company was funded. I'm sorry, it may sound a bit about advertisement, but it's actually not. So we want to explain, bring you guys back to the early days why we funded, so that it may gives you guys some ideas about the opportunities in blockchain space, right? So when we funded actually 2 years ago, it's a very beginning of NFT space. At that early stage, we have a lot of we basically have two groups of friends, right? One group of our friends are artists, and the other group of our friends are engineers, like Reno, right? So then we find out actually there's a gap. A lot of our artist friends approaching us saying that they want to do their first NFT, but the issue was, right, actually a lot of them just heard the term of NFT, but they have no idea how to mint their first NFT. They have no idea, no prior experience in doing any blockchain related or crypto related stuff, right? They don't have crypto, they don't have wallet, they don't know what is gas fee, they don't know anything, right? They basically just can do illustration. But then at the same time, we have a lot of engineers friends who have no idea about our work, right? But then remember back then, like NFT, the reason why NFT becomes so boom is because a bunch of fashion stylists and artists actually issuing their own NFT, making their art as an NFT and sell them at a very crazy high value. It became super popular. So we basically see there's a gap between these two groups of people. And then if we can build a platform or bridge among this two group of people, and then we can actually make a business. And so we actually did that. So with that, with Moonlab platform in the middle, as you can see, the artists actually can just focusing doing their artwork as the old days, and then they basically just can earn revenue from Moonlab. We share the revenue with them. And on the right hand side, what our platform can offer them is like a lot of the blockchain stuff, right? So we help, if you don't have crypto, if the artists don't have crypto, we actually have crypto liquidity for them. And then we provide the storage of the artwork, because the artwork will be stored on blockchain. And we also help them to do some settlement and so on and so forth, because most of the artists still prefer receiving fiat currency, right? Because they actually have to survive through selling their artworks. So they have to get the instead of getting Bitcoin or ETH, they prefer getting the fiat money. So we actually do the currency swap for them as well. And then that's one part of the pain point we identified, which is from the supply side, right? Because if you look at the NFT space, the supply side is mainly from the artists who have to make their artwork as an NFT to supply to the market. And solving the supply side pain point, and then we move into the demand side, because once we minted some NFTs on our platform, we find out, oh, actually the sales are not looking so good. We're trying to figure out what's the reason behind. Then we find out actually the demand side also have problems. First of all, for a layman customer, there are a lot of NFT marketplaces out there, right? So the famous one is OpenSea, and then some of us may also know Super Rare and a Foundation, like these kind of big names as well. But then there are many out there, right? So if you are a layman who have zero knowledge about NFT space, you don't even know which marketplace to actually buy this kind of NFTs. And then with NFT space, we also have different blockchain protocols supporting these NFTs, behind these NFTs, right? So we have Binance Chain, we have Ethereum, we have Solana, we have so on and so forth, right? So there are some cases where an NFT is actually minted on Binance Chain, but you are carrying ETH, you are carrying ETH in your MetaMask, and you are trying to use that wallet to buy those NFT minted on Binance Chain. It's not so interoperable, right? So people find it very counterintuitive and find it very hard to understand how to buy their NFT. And assuming they know all these steps, all these platforms, all these protocols, they still need to actually do the buying, right? So they have to buy crypto, they have to transfer their crypto token to DeFi wallet, and then they have to pay the gas fee, so on and so forth. They basically have to do a lot of work, right? So then we find out if we can streamline the whole purchase journey, maybe it will increase our sales. And then therefore we did something like what do we call one-click purchase. So the simple user journey is like we allow the customer to actually use credit card to buy the NFT, because they don't have to. Not everyone have crypto, and not every one of us have DeFi wallet, right? So what customer needs to do is just using credit card to buy the NFT, and then we will ask them whether they have a wallet or not, because I'm pretty sure even in this room, not every one of us have the crypto wallet, DeFi wallet, right? Maybe just 70% or even 30% of us have the wallet. So most of people finding creating wallet and storing the private key very tedious. So they just need to tick that checkbox. As you can see, this is really our prototype in early days. So we basically just tick that checkbox, and then we will be creating that wallet for you on blockchain on your behalf, and then we actually send the wallet information to your email, the private key, the wallet address, and so on and so forth. And then once you connect your wallet to MetaMask, connect your wallet to OpenSea, or connect your wallet to our platform, you can actually see your NFT already deposited into your wallet. So instead of spending 60-something minutes to buy crypto and create a wallet and do all those kind of tedious work, you can actually finish your process, the purchase process, within 10 minutes or even less, right? So that's our initial product. And then I just want to do a very quick case study, because actually today is really our special day, actually a very special day for me and Reno. So we actually today we are launching a new product with HKT, PCDW, and Tap and Go, their e-wallet. So we actually made NFT as a service platform for these banking institutions to issue their NFTs. So because we care so much about user journey, as you can see, all the previous slides I've been talking why we started and what are we doing. We basically trying to bridge people from Web 2 to Web 3 and make their transition from Web 2 to Web 3 easier. So we care a lot about user experiences. So we find out actually the creating, buying NFT, creating NFT is not only to C customer as well. To B customer, like institutions right now, many institutions, like you may heard like HSBC has purchased a land in Sandbox. A lot of the big company, big banks and financial institution especially, they're trying to enter into this Web3 space, and they're trying to provide their customer with Web3 related customer experience. And NFT is just a very good entry point for all of them. But these kind of big corporates sometimes find it very hard to issue those NFTs to the client. They don't have the technical know-how. So we came into play where we built the system, this blockchain as a service system for the bank, so that they can provide this system to. They basically license the system from us and provide this service to their customer. So right now, their customer can just go to this platform and then upload their photo, and then they can input their email address, some description they wanna associate with this NFT, and then we will ask them something like, do you have a wallet address, and so on and so forth. If they have the wallet address, basically they can provide us the wallet address here. If they don't have the wallet address, they basically can click that create wallet. And as we demonstrated before, we basically can help the customer to create a wallet on the blockchain, and then they can record all the blockchain, the wallet related information like a public key, wallet address, and the secret recovery phrase, and then private key, and then they can just key in their wallet information into our platform again, and they can finish the minting process. And when they finish their minting process, their NFT will be minted on blockchain and will be featured on OpenSea. So this journey we have made the minting, making every one of us can own our own NFT instead of just buying, right? So in the NFT market right now, it's only like creators and then buyers and sellers. But we think in the future of Web3, we pay a lot of attention about co-creation. So we think every one of us can be an artist in a way, so that you can contribute to this NFT or this artwork that you created, and we have a system to allow you to make the minting process very straightforward and to make the wallet creation very straightforward, so that everyone can be an artist and co-create with our community, right? So this is some solution we are launching very soon, and we just announced it today with the HKT. And then after talking what we have done, I will share some future use cases that we are focusing on right now. So we are actually, so there are a lot of use cases of NFT. As I said in the very beginning, NFT to us is not just an artwork. It's not a collectibles. It's not just a JPEG or PNG, right? So it can carry a lot of value, and that value can be translated in a corporate environment or business world. So to give you some simple cases that we are working on right now, a certificate can be a very perfect use case for NFT. Imagine, I mean, you are in school right now. So imagine one day your graduation certificate can be put on blockchain as an NFT, so that your future employer can actually go to blockchain, verify your the authenticity of the graduation cert, and then they don't have to go through another middleman, which is usually right now how they do it is they have to work together with a due diligence agency. So once you submit your resume to their company, and the agency will actually carry, once they have the consent, they will go to school to verify that, oh, actually this person ABC, whether him or her has graduated from Hong Kong U or not, in which year. Like they will do this verification process manually. And then if we are imagining one day we can actually make the graduation certificate transparent on blockchain, so it will make future employer to verify the authenticity of the grad cert easily, and that's not only for graduation certificates, right? That can be applied for driving license and different kind of licenses as well. So whenever you want to demonstrate you have achieved something in a certain domain, you don't have to rely on another intermediaries to actually verify the authenticity of that certificate you show to the employer or the counterparty. The blockchain will do the magic, right? So that's one use case. And the other use case is in the future we can actually make the ticket as an NFT as well. There are many good reasons why we have to make we will make the ticket as an NFT. For example, one thing is like the ticket itself right now. I'm not sure you guys do that, but actually some of my friends actually collect all the ticket that he or she went to the concert. After went to the concert, they will collect the ticket, collect them as a memory. And then it's a perfect using scenario if we use the NFT, right? So that once after you've seen the concert, you can actually have the ticket stored on blockchain, and you can keep that as a memory as one of the collectibles. So ticket, instead of just a piece of paper, actually carrying emotional attachment or memory to that ticket, so that you can put that as an NFT. And the other reason is like if we can have NFT ticket, and then we can program some privilege into the ticket, right? So it's much like a membership. So imagine ticket, you have diamond ticket, you have gold ticket, you have a silver ticket, right? Different tier of ticket you can achieve. You can actually redeem for different privilege. So if I'm going to Ethan Chan's Christmas concert, if I'm carrying an NFT with a diamond privilege, I'm able to actually go to the backstage to shake hands with him and then take a photo with him. So this kind of privilege can be associated to NFT, right? And then the other use case of part of ticketing is coupons. Coupons is like actually right now a lot of the online shops like Shopify, those kind of have already implemented this. You may find some terms called token gating as well. But then basically the idea is instead of using a promo code as a coupon, right now people can, the users are able to shop in this kind of e-commerce platform. They can connect their Web3 wallet like a MetaMask or those kind of thing. And then they can, once you connect the wallet, the system will actually detect what's NFT, what NFTs you have that can be used for buying certain commodities, right? Buying certain goods. So if you want to buy jeans, a pair of jeans on Amazon, and you can actually connect your Web3 wallet, and one of the NFT will offer you 15% discount. And then basically when you go to the checkout journey, it will be discounted automatically, and then you can proceed the payment. That's one use case as well. And then last but not least, it's a membership. It's more straightforward, right? So people use NFT. Basically, NFT is a proof of ownership, right? So once you own some NFT, if the NFT can be made as a tiered membership, so then you can, much like the ticketing example I have given previously, you can actually use a membership to enjoy different privileges, like a club, much like your AE Black card, right? So you can enjoy different privileges associated to that NFT, but maybe not in an offline context, right? But more on an online context. So for example, when you have that membership in playing video games, you can get a certain weapons after you play the game. And in your financial fintech environment, maybe you have different tier of membership will bring you different tier of cashback percentage. So if you're a gold membership, you have 2% cash back for each transaction you made. But if you're silver, you may just enjoy 0.5% cash back. This kind of thing can be actually programmed into this kind of use cases. And then these are some examples of some use cases we find in Hong Kong. So actually, Timejai actually have launched their NFT platform previously. They call it Superhero. Basically, they issue the NFT in a form of membership, right? So after you buying this NFT, you can. This is basically their platform. If you guys are interested, you guys can check it out. Basically, the concept is you once you buy their NFT, and you can bring this NFT to their shop, and then you show the NFT to the cashier, and you can get I forgot, like maybe some discount, and then maybe you can get buy one get one free on certain days, and those kind of things. Basically, different exclusive privilege for this NFT holders. And then this is another NFT case in Hong Kong. It's from the platform called endowed. It's actually from a celebrity here in Hong Kong, Do Menzha. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you guys know him. And then he launched this platform and selling this kind of very Hong Kong style images as an NFT. And this NFT is not just like an image. He actually made a metaverse in decentralized, right? He built his own building in decentralized like this. So the NFT holder, once you have the NFT, you can actually visit this building, and then inside that building, he has different scenes. For one scene is this theater, right? Cinema. So only the NFT holders can actually enter into the cinema and view the movie. So these are different privileges for the NFT holder. And I'm not sure, like for each, does he categorize different NFT types as well? Maybe some certain NFTs can only access to the cinema, and some NFTs can access to all the scenes, and some NFTs can only visit the building once per day, and some NFTs actually have no limits. Maybe he has some setting around that. If you guys are interested, you guys can take a look basically about this case. Yeah. So, and then talk after sharing the case. I think before I pass the time to Reno, I also want to share what we are working on right now, and what we will be working on in the coming 2023. And by the way, we are actually actively hiring. Actually, consider that's an advertisement recruitment. We are actually working very hard to hire talented people like you guys. So if you guys are interested in any part of our business and in some things we are working on right now, do send us a message or email, so that we will be very happy to have an interview with you guys and have a chat. So some projects we are working on right now around Web3 is, as you guys may know, Hong Kong government, Hong Kong MA actually will issue a stable coin called Hong Kong dollar, EHKD, right? So we are actually working together with banks on its issuance application, and the application allowing stable coin to buy stuff in retail context, and to also buy cryptos. So we are working on the issuance of this stable coins, and then we are also working on developing the application business use case. One of the use case we are working on is once we have the Hong Kong dollar, we are working on together with the e-wallet payment platforms and virtual banks to allow people to actually use this stable coin to actually buy cryptos easily. Right now, there's no easy way for people to buy crypto, right? You can only buy in Binance, but then Binance is not recognized as a legal entity here in Hong Kong. So we actually work with banks here to actually allowing people to use stablecoin to convert their stablecoin into cryptocurrencies. So in the future, hopefully we can buy crypto as an asset in our banks, right? Just like buying FX or gold in our banks right now. You can buy crypto very easily in the future. And that stablecoin is a very important gateway for us to do that. And then the other thing we have been doing and we will continue to develop along the line is NFT as a service. We're trying to build a platform that allowing corporate or individuals to issue, mint their NFT through our platform very easily. And then that NFT can have different utilities. It can be just an artwork. It can carry certain utilities like membership and token memberships and ticket. We basically want to make a system allowing companies or users to create a batch of NFTs very easily and with different purposes as well. And then the last thing we're working on is basically what we call a Web3 music platform, because we think currently the music platform is very centralized. The most of the artists who work together have been working together for decades, right? So when you think about lyrics, is always those two people who did pretty good job, and if you talk about singers, it's always those few people who do very well in vocals, and they tend to work together in a closed loop relationship. But then we think that there are a lot of potential in decentralized this current workflow in music industry, so that every one of us can actually participate in part of the music ecosystem, because we know that music actually it requires different skill set, right? So if you are a singer, you can focus on your singing, and if you are a very good pianist, you can focus on piano. But then doesn't mean that you two together cannot make a song, right? So we think that there are a lot of co-creation opportunities in this industry, and each people you can imagine NFT can play a huge role here. So each one of us who are good at doing certain type of music can actually make their work as an NFT, and then together they can co-create what I call a bigger NFT, right? So and then ultimately their co-created work will be distributed to Spotify or major music label company, and then but then through, because it's a Web3 platform and we use blockchain as a backbone of the platform. So all the people's contribution will be stored on blockchain, and it will be very transparent and immutable. And most importantly, it will be smart and automated as well, right? So instead of trusting a music label, once you sell a record, you have to be rewarded. Right now, you don't have to trust any intermediaries. There's no intermediaries anymore. Your contribution is recorded, and once a song is sold or has been listened, your royalties will be distributed to you, just like any other NFTs, right? The original creator will always get benefited whenever there's a transaction, third transaction, fourth transaction. Every transaction, the royalty will be distributed to the creator automatically. Yeah, so these are some things we have been working on, and if you are interested, please do let us know. Yeah, I'll pass to Reno to talk about the tech stuff, because we saw that there's some tech background people in the classroom as well.
Hello, hello. Can you guys hear?
I can hear you.
Okay. I think you can keep on the share. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'm not sharing my screen because my laptop is in.
Can you guys hear him? Yeah.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Now it's okay.
Okay, sorry. My laptop ran out of battery because I thought the seminar gonna start at 7, so yeah, I've been using my laptop ever since. Okay, yeah. Anyways, let's start. So these are the landscape of DeFi products or NFTs. So in the first layer, you have applications, and then below it, you have the marketplace. And then underneath it, you have further sort of like system that you use. Like for example, there is ENS, there is IPFS. So IPFS is the storage system in the decentralized infrastructure. There is ENS, it's the naming system. So instead of you having your public address to be in hexadecimal, you can have it in wordings. And then underneath it is the chain. So there are many options of which blockchain you want to use. First, you can use the Ethereum, you can use Bitcoin or other. But on top of it, there is a layer 2 blockchain, which means a blockchain that is built on top of other blockchains. So for example, Polygon is built on top of Ethereum with the sole purpose to reduce the gas fee and also the speed. So Polygon is trying to solve the Ethereum main issue, which is the scalability and also the gas. So these are all the NFT stack, I should say. Can go to the next. Before that, I think we skipped one. Yeah. So if you see this, there are 4 main components in NFTs. So first is the application layer again. It consists of ENS and marketplace. So these are the ones that you interact with for the users to interact. Then you have the presentation layer. So these are the libraries. So for Web3 libraries, we use Ether.js normally. And then you have the developer environment. And normally the popular one are Hardhat and Truffle. Otherwise, you can also use like Remix for developing your smart contract. So these are all the tools that you need to develop smart contracts. And then the lastly is the file storage, which is the IPFS typically. Then after that, you have the blockchain layer. So in the blockchain, there are 2 things. One is the node, and secondly is the explorer. The node is where your data is being processed, and then where your data is being processed and registered on the blockchain. So normally for this, we use a third party to host the node. So the popular one are Alchemy, and the second one is Infura. But you can also host your own nodes, but then that one will need some more setup. So in analogy, having your own node setup, it's similar to like you have your own server, like on-premise server, but then you can also use like a cloud services to host your server and backend. So similarly, if you use this type of services like Alchemy, it's similar for you to use like GCP or AWS. And then after that, you have the block explorer. I think Jack mentioned a bit about Etherscan. So these are the platform for you to check your smart contract and interact, see your history list, transactions, so on and so forth. And then lastly is the blockchain itself. The blockchain is categorized in 2 parts, EVM and non-EVM. EVM stands for Ethereum Virtual Machine. So the way you think about it, it's like virtual machine. When you install a virtual machine in your laptop, there are normally if you want to run like 2 kinds of OSs, like you want to run Windows alongside with Mac, for example, or Linux. So similarly, you can install like Ethereum OS, and this Ethereum OS, if you install it, then you can communicate with the Ethereum network and post like a transaction to be registered on the block. Then there is a non-EVM blockchains, which is, for example, like Solana, Flow. Those are non-EVM. So they are built using different kind of algorithm that Ethereum uses. So there are a debate like which one is better. So my conclusion for this is EVM is widely tested and has been there for a long time. But the non-EVM is relatively new. Not many people use it. The interoperability is not that good, but then it offers like more innovations. So they try to solve some issues that Ethereum has, but then, for example, like the scalability using different approach of consensus mechanism. So we can go to the next part. Yeah. So yeah, so these are the net. I think we can skip this part too. So that, yeah, and these are, as you mentioned, like Alchemy, Infura, and also this part. Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, depth, mainnet and testnet. Yeah, I think this one is important. So mainnet, basically when you develop your smart contract, you can deploy it directly on mainnet. It's not suggested. So there are two different things. Like in software development, there is a production and UAT, or staging or testing. So you can deploy your smart contract before directly to the network. There is a thing called testnet where you deploy in a similar network, like a copy of Ethereum running, but then it's not using real tokens. So it's just using like a simulated token. So you can test your smart contract and how it behaves. After that, then you can use it on mainnet. And there is a thing called faucet. So this is where you get your token in the testnet, since you don't use real money. Yeah. And go to the next. So when you try to build your NFT prototype, I would suggest there are two things that you can do. Use OpenSea, and secondly, you can develop your own smart contract. Yeah. So if you use OpenSea, this is a good way for you to get your hands dirty for you first time to check how it uses, how it behaves. So you use OpenSea to create your account. The process is quite simple. You create your MetaMask wallet, then you create your collection, and then after that, you can post your first NFT. Then if you want to build a layer, like a Web3 layer between the customer and your platform, you can use OpenSea API to fetch the your NFT. Yeah. So this is how it will look like, the API on the OpenSea. So if you just call the API, then you can retrieve like a response from the API, and then it will give you lots of information. For example, the metadata, the image, and so on and so forth. And then, yeah, you can also build your own custom ERC721. So this is like a custom smart contract. The benefit of having this is you have more control, of course, and it's your own collection. It's not like a mix of collection. Like in OpenSea, it's like a mix of random collections put in one smart contract. But this one is your own custom smart contract. So this will include more development. But then if you have more experience in like developing smart contract, then this is the way to go. So overall, yeah, what you need is Node.js, GitHub, and then Hardhat, and also Infura. So first, you need to install like all this Node.js, and GitHub is a very useful tool because there are many open source projects, so you can see what's there and what are the functions. So you can clone or fork a GitHub repository, and then you can run it and see how it works. Yeah. And then these are your typical project structure. So you have like contracts, you have node modules, and yeah, and then better you just put all your project in one folder. So it's you can see the structure easily. Yeah. And then when you deploy, you use I mentioned Hardhat. So this is the contract deployment. So you use Hardhat to deploy the contract, and once you deploy it, you can verify it on the Explorer, like Polygon Scan or Etherscan. Yeah. And then you can also run your website locally, and then after that you deploy it on some kind of hosting services. For example, like Heroku or Firebase is also useful to host your website for free. Yeah. And then since we are talking about NFTs paradise, or is it a scam? So I would like to end the presentation using through mentioning like all these issues that exist in NFTs and why people are thinking that NFTs are scam. I think the technology itself, as Jack mentioned, it's very good. It's a gateway for you to have an ownership over internet. Ownership meaning like digital ownership. However, there are many projects out there that actually lead the public into misunderstanding. So, for example, like people are thinking when you own an NFT, it's like you're owning a piece of digital artwork. But actually, what you own is actually just a piece of line. It's like a receipt in the real digital, real physical world. It's like you own a receipt in the smart contract, which point to a URL of an image. So this creates some misunderstanding, and the how people market the NFTs itself, they tend to hype it up, like think of it as like an investment. So like the mindset is all about like gaining like profits, flipping the NFTs, buying it, but then underneath it, there is no functionality that is built on top of the NFTs. And the promises that's been made on their website is like, it's like very, very high that it tends to be under delivering and cannot meet the expectation. So that's what happened to the most projects. And as this landscape of NFTs is relatively new, so there are not many regulations as well that regulates this NFT. But if you talk with legal people, I think they will have a lot of concerns. For example, like copyright. So it's not regulated very well. So since we work with artists, so sharing a bit, like when you own the NFT, are you actually eligible to make print the artwork and sell it as your merchandise? So smart contract at this moment has no way to ensure that. And then there are other legal issues that also important to address is there is no guarantee about customer safety. So for example, if I buy a NFT for Bored Ape Yacht Club, okay, what I own is a receipt in the smart contract. But then the Bored Ape Yacht Club people can promise you that by owning this NFT, you are entitled to many kinds of perks, like free merchandise, free event, those kind of things. But then these events are actually not on the chain. It's not in the smart contract. It's outside the smart contract. So there is no legal binding between the customer and the company itself. So with this issue, Bored Ape Yacht Club, for example, God forbid, they can just disappear, and then there is no legal binding. So they can disappear, and then basically since the smart contract, since it is outside the smart contract, so it cannot be controlled. So that's what happened to many kinds of NFT projects. So they just disappear, like they don't deliver. People already buy the NFTs, but then since the company is gone, then you ended up with this piece of receipt that cannot do anything. So that's why people think NFTs are scams. That's one of the reasons. So, and then that's why what we are trying to build right now is a very good foundation in MoonLab. We want to work with institutions that know how it's done, what's the regulation, what is the compliance, and how it's supposed to be executed, that meet all the different parties, like what other parties are interested in. So we don't want to like pull up like a scam, and also, yeah, something like that. So we want to lay a good foundation where it meets the regulation, it meets the security, it meets the compliance, it meets the legal. So anything that is outside the smart contract, we try to minimize it. And also we try to have TNC and also like a legal binding between the customer and also the corporate itself, so that it's not just a scam, or it's not just a yeah, it's not just and other NFTs project that you can just disappear. Yeah. And then lastly, I would like to point three main issues that it's quite exciting for us to solve in the future. Firstly is low friction, low entry barrier. So, high friction and low entry barrier. So what it means is right now to get into NFTs, there are a lot of friction. You need to set up your wallet, you need to buy cryptocurrency, you need to manage your private keys, so on and so forth. So user experience is one thing that we can improve, definitely. And then next is the cultural shifts, which leads to mass adoption. So there are big misunderstandings in the NFTs world. So as I said previously, people think that it's about owning the digital, but then we need to educate the market more and more that it's not the owning the image, but it's more like you own the piece of code inside a smart contract. And then right now, the culture of NFTs is just for flipping. Like, so lots of people are just using it for like investment purpose. So if you see like the majority of users in NFTs are still dominated by DeFi background. And because of that, it's still not reaching to mass adoption as well. But then there are lots of good use cases of NFTs, as Jack has mentioned before, that can be used by normal people without a financial background, but then it's just for your own, for your daily lives. And lastly is the interoperable and identity. So interoperable is very important topic. So right now the NFTs are everywhere, some in Solana, some in Binance, some in Ethereum. So these are not, these NFTs from one chain cannot transfer to another chain. And it creates friction between developer if they want to collaborate. And also lastly is the identity. So the identity right now in the blockchain is very, very fake. Like it's just a hexadecimal. So it's very hard to keep someone accountable about the identity. So so it's very hard when you go to Etherscan and see the list of transaction. It's very hard to track. But actually, blockchain is actually a very good infrastructure because it's immutable. So it provides a trustless service. But then with this identity issue, then it creates some unwanted incentives, for example, like money laundering, and also people start to scam because you cannot know the identity. So this is a big issue as well. So yeah, so overall, I think our stand about NFTs, as long as if NFTs is executed properly, but then it depends on the who are the executors of the NFTs. And when you look at a project, so you need to be very critical and scrutinize the project heavily as well. Yeah. Thank you. So if you guys have further questions, feel free to ask us.
Check. Yes, thank you all for the sharing. And if you have any questions, you can raise your hand. We'll give you the chance to unmute yourself and ask an active question. If you are too shy, it is also okay to just type your question in the chat box. By the way, if anyone in an offline meeting would like to talk, just raise your hand. You can ask a question if you want. I think there are some questions in the chat box. You can check, Jack and Reno.
Yeah.
I think there is a question about stablecoin.
Which one?
Beside Hong Kong dollar, can we make your own stablecoin in Hong Kong?
Where do you see that question?
In the chat. In the chat.
Oh, in the chat.
Yeah. I think, yeah, you can create your own stablecoin, but then again, right now it's not.
Yeah.
There are licenses in Hong Kong, so it's important to pay
Yeah.
an important attention on the license. Yeah, Jack, I think you can cover.
Technically, you can do that. I think technically you can do that, but then I think the thing with money and currency, there are two issues. One issue is the license, and the other issue is the trust, right? Everyone you guys can go to the printing room and write something like 1 million on a piece of A4 paper, and then you can say that's the money you issued. But then the problem with that is nobody gonna trust that piece of paper, right? So yeah, everyone can issue stablecoin. You need to have a license, and second, you need to have a public trust to the token you issued. Yeah. And so it's in the chat. Okay, let me see.
Yeah, seems like many questions are popping up.
Oh, many questions in the chat.
Yeah, please just select some of the question you think is meaningful or interest to you, like 3 to 4, it will be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me answer the next question. I think someone mentioned a good point about the biggest problem in NFTs. There are many scams. Yeah, and yeah, people start to use the smart contract, like misunderstanding in the smart contract as well. Like all the functions, many people doesn't understand, even though it's like publicly accessible. But yeah, for example, like people tweaks the smart contract and then they cannot withdraw the money out. Yeah, that's very true. That's why you need to be very, very critical about the project. And do you have any interest in security issues for NFT, like scam project detection? Oh, that's interesting. Right now, we don't detect other projects. Right now, we just focus on our project and make sure that our project is like fulfilling all the requirements and it's not a scam. Yeah.
But that's a good idea. Actually,
that's a good idea.
Actually, it's like an audit for
for auditing,
for NFT. Yeah, auditing other smart contract. Are you so interested in that? Maybe you should join us to do that. We'll ask that question. Yeah. I do think there's a business because there are many people losing money, right? They lost their money. They trying to find a trusted third party to audit the smart contract. Why do we need stablecoin for Hong Kong dollar if we already have coins like USDT? Why Hong Kong dollar has the exchange rate mechanism? Do you think there's any advantage for it? Well, I think that's a very good question. But then sometimes whatever happening in our society, not because of the technicals, right? Sometimes it's because the politics and other commercial consideration. Different like USDT and USDT and USDC are very foreign-based company who are in charge of the stablecoin issuance. USDC is backed by Coinbase and USDT is backed by USDT Foundation. They're like a very foreign-based company. So if you are a Hong Kong government or if you are China government, you try not to allowing your all of your citizens' money actually falling into foreign pocket, right? So that's some political consideration there. So they try to encourage. Actually, what they try to do is like the other way around, right? They try to encourage Hong Kong people to actually buy Hong Kong issued a stable coin and then use that Hong Kong issued stable coin to buy crypto asset like Bitcoin and ETH. At least the money is circulating in this territory. Yeah, because Hong Kong dollar still is issued by the central government, like not central government, I mean Hong Kong MA. So they have a lot of incentive to control the monetary supply and all that. Yeah.
I think there is a good point as well in the chat by Eric. So Jack, you talked about accepting credit card when minting through our platform.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
will the financial institution reject the transaction since it is regarding a crypto purchase?
Oh, very good question. Actually, to be honest with you, it happened to us, but then I think it become better and better right now. We were rejected by Stripe before because they think it's a crypto related transaction, but right now, based on our latest conversation with them, they are more open to cryptos right now, related transaction, so they don't block us anymore. But in early days when we started, like 1 year ago, they actually reject us. Yeah. So yeah.
And also when collaborating with institutions, right now we try to do step by step. So having like a exchange, like for example, fiat to crypto, like on-ramp solutions. Right now it's still quite challenging because of the regulations. So most of the institution, if they don't have the license or they hold other licenses that doesn't allow them to transaction in crypto. So right now we're doing it step by step, like for example, issuing NFTs for gifting only. And then after that, we start to have the DeFi solutions for the wallet. And then after that, we have further and further solutions on the road. So we are trying to divide and conquer for one solution step by step, and then try to meet all the legal and also meet the compliance. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw some question about how to contact us. I mean, if you're interested in discuss any ideas and want to join us, or you have some projects you want to work together with us, we welcome you, right? So you can send us an email to business@themoonlab.co, and then we'll try our best to reply to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for Jack and Reno for the sharing. And yeah, please contact them if you have interest. We may also invite them to go to our Discord community to meet you guys if possible. And yeah, I think that's all for today's talk. Thanks, Jack and Reno again. Also, if you want to claim your course NFT, please scan the QR code right now. You'll get the 6-digit hash and you can claim your NFT. We will hang it for a while. And
yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, no.
Thank you, guys.
Pleasure.
Shout out to everyone
Bye-bye.
offline today. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. Hope to see you guys offline soon. Bye-bye.